Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. India continues its strong pitch at the World Economic Forum in Davos. Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw says Bharat is building a complete semiconductor ecosystem. India reiterates its stand on zero tolerance against terrorism in a meeting between External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar with his visiting Spaniard counterpart Albares. Japan court sentences former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's assassin to life in prison. Judgment comes 3.5 years after the fatal shooting in July 2022. NASA astronaut Sunita Williams retires after 27 years with historic mission records from 608 days in space. European Parliament freezes approval of US trade deal following Trump's tariff stance over Greenland. In sports, the India-New Zealand rivalry shifts to the shortest format as the men in blue face the Black Caps in the first of the 5 T20 internationals in Nagpur today. As the global leaders attending the Davos 2026, the World Economic Forum plays a key role in shaping India's economic vision with discussions on investment, trade, AI, MSMEs, climate, finance and India's growing influence in the global decision-making. On day 3rd of the forum, several union ministers and state leaders will be attending special sessions related to the key sectors as India continues its strong pitch at Davos 2026, Maharashtra and Jharkhand backed investments. Speaking at the World Economic Forum annual meeting in Davos, India's Minister for Electronics and Information Technology, Ashwini Vaishnaw, has said that India is working at all levels of chip manufacturing and aims to become the world's largest supplier of services. The minister also acknowledged India's AI revolution, calling it Industry 5.0.
There are 5 layers in the AI architecture: the application layer, the model layer, the chip layer, the infra layer, and the energy layer. We are working on all the 5 layers, making very good progress in all the 5 layers. On the application layer, we will probably be the biggest supplier of services to the world. Go to an enterprise, understand the business of enterprise, understand the working of that enterprise, and provide that service using AI applications. That's going to be the biggest factor of success or successful deployment of AI, because that's where ROI comes from. ROI doesn't come from creating a very large model. 95% of the work can happen with models which are 20 billion or 50 billion parameters. We are creating a bouquet of such models. We already have. We already have a bouquet of such models which are now being deployed in multiple sectors to increase the productivity, to increase the efficiency, to increase the effective use of technology.
A session on strategic leadership in the bio-revolution, women powering innovation and global solutions was also held at World Economic Forum, where India's former Union Minister Smriti Irani said biotechnology is transforming how we treat disease, feed population and respond to climate challenges. Yet, leadership and capital allocation across the sector remains uneven, with women representing fewer than 1 in 5 leadership positions in this trillion-dollar industry. The discussion underscored how gender-responsive leadership strengthens innovation ecosystems, enhances market performance, and delivers more inclusive outcomes for the society. Ahead of a trip to Davos to participate in the World Economic Forum, US President Donald Trump said that he would hold several meetings to address his intention to take control of Greenland. On Tuesday, he said that there was no going back on his goal to control Greenland, refusing to rule out taking the Arctic island by force and lashing out at NATO allies.
We have a lot of meetings scheduled on Greenland. And I think things are going to work out pretty well. I think that we will work something out where NATO is going to be very happy. and where we're going to be very happy. But we need it for security purposes. We need it for national security and even world security.
After speaking with NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, Trump said in a Truth Social post that Greenland was imperative for national and world security and that there could be no going back. He added that everyone agreed on that. Trump's bid to claim sovereignty over Greenland from Denmark has raised concerns about straining NATO and sparking a renewed trade conflict with Europe. Amid escalating tensions with the US, the European Parliament will soon announce the suspension of the approval of the US trade deal agreed in July last year. Earlier, the EU lawmakers have agreed to hold off ratifying a key trade deal with the United States following President Trump's tariff stance over Greenland. The European Parliament is expected to formally suspend on Wednesday its work on the trade deal struck with the US last summer in protest over Trump's warning. Trump has warned to 8 EU nations, including France and Germany, with tariffs for not going along with his demand to get Greenland. Washington claims Greenland's strategic location and mineral resources are vital to its security, but the leadership in Denmark and Greenland have rejected the idea, emphasizing their right to self-determination. Trade tensions between US and Europe had eased since the two sides struck a deal in Scotland in July last year. That agreement set US levies on most European goods at 15%. In exchange, Europe had agreed to invest in the US and make changes on the continent expected to boost US exports. The deal still needs approval from the European Parliament to become official. US President Donald Trump on Tuesday said that he would not attend any emergency meeting of G7 nations proposed by French President Emmanuel Macron to discuss the Ukraine conflict. Speaking at a White House press briefing marking 1 year into his second term, Trump said that he would not attend the meeting, suggesting Macron's political future was uncertain.
Will you still go to Paris for the G7 emergency meeting as offered by President Macron?
No, I wouldn't do that. Because, you know, Emmanuel's not going to be there very long. And, you know, there's no longevity there. He's a friend of mine. He's a nice guy. I like Macron. But he's not going to be there very much longer, as you know.
NASA astronaut Sunita Williams has retired from the space agency, capping a stellar 27-year career during which she completed 3 missions aboard the International Space Station and set various human spaceflight records. Williams, 60 years of age, is currently visiting India. On Tuesday afternoon, she participated in an interactive session hosted at the American Center. Williams spent over 8 months aboard the ISS and returned to Earth in March 2025 aboard the SpaceX, along with her crewmate Butch Wilmore. 60-year-old Williams, a former Navy captain, spent more than 27 years at NASA, logging 608 days in space over 3 station missions. She also set a record for the most spacewalking time by a woman, that is 62 hours, during 9 excursions. Brazil's government and federal prosecutors gave billionaire Elon Musk's AI 30 days to stop its Grok chatbot, in fact, from circulating fake sexualized content. The Brazilian Consumer Protection Agency, Senacon, Data Protection Authority, ANPD, and the Office of the Federal Prosecutor said they can take further administrative or judicial measures if X does not comply. The Brazilian authorities urged Elon Musk's firm to develop and implement technical procedures to identify, review, and remove the inappropriate content within 30 days, as well as to remove accounts linked to their production. Governments and regulators across the world have been cracking down on sexually explicit content generated by the Grok AI tool in recent weeks, launching probes, imposing bans, and demanding safeguards as part of a growing global push to curb illegal material. In Niger, gunmen attacked a village in western region near the borders with Burkina Faso and Mali over the weekend, leaving at least 31 people dead. The attack took place on Sunday in a village lying in the Tillabéri region, located in the tri-border area, a flashpoint zone where the frontiers of Niger, Burkina Faso and Mali converge. No group has claimed responsibility so far. Tillabéri became the deadliest region across central Sahel in 2025, with more than 1,200 deaths, more of them civilians. Several terrorist groups that target both civilians and the military operate in Niger, including an Islamic State group affiliate. In Spain, one person died and 4 were seriously injured after a train near Barcelona plowed into the rubble of a collapsed wall on Tuesday. The incident occurred as heavy storms battered northeastern Spain, as coastal areas in the east and northwest of Spain are on high alert because of the weather. Emergency workers used torches in the dark to survey the wreckage of the derailed train carriage, which had turned into a mass of crumpled metal. It is the second deadly rail accident in days. 2 high-speed trains collided in the southern region of Andalusia on Sunday, killing 42 people and injured more than 120. All high-speed services between Madrid and south cities of Malaga, Cordoba, Sevilla and Huelva have been suspended until Friday. Spain's king and queen visited the site where 2 high-speed trains collided at the weekend. Met emergency services workers near the spot where the mangled wreckage of the 2 trains lied, which had been carrying more than 500 passengers, laid. The royals also visited a hospital in the nearby city of Cordoba, where some of the injured are being treated. A Japanese court sentenced former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's killer to life in prison on Wednesday. The court charged Tetsuya Yamagami with killing the former Prime Minister with a homemade gun during the influential politician's campaign rally in Nara in July 2022. The judgment came more than 3 years after the broad daylight assassination of ex-Japanese Prime Minister shocked the world. A guilty verdict was all but certain after Yamagami admitted to killing Abe in the first court hearing at the Nara District Court in October, and attention had been on the severity of the sentence. The former Prime Minister was a huge figure in public life in Japan, where there is virtually no gun crime, and the country was left stunned by his assassination. Tokyo Electric Power will restart on Wednesday a reactor at the Kashiwazaki Kariwa nuclear power plant after inspections were completed, its first such move since the Fukushima disaster in 2011. TEPCO said that it would put online the 1.36 gigawatt reactor number 6 after 7 p.m. local time on Wednesday. Reactor number 6 is expected to restart commercial operation, boosting the power supply in the Tokyo area by end of February. The restart was delayed from January 20th as TEPCO was investigating an alarm malfunction. As of early Wednesday, the equipment in question was functioning normally. Kashiwazaki Kariwa is the world's biggest nuclear power station, capable of producing 8.2 gigawatt of electricity when at full capacity. Kashiwazaki Kariwa's restart, the first for TEPCO since the Fukushima disaster, is a major test for the entire Japanese nuclear power industry, as 6 reactors operated by the other utilities, including Chubu Electric Power Company, 9,500 2.T, are awaiting regulatory decisions on their potential restarts. The U.S. Supreme Court is set to hear an emergency appeal from the Trump administration regarding the firing of Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook on Wednesday. Trump sought in August to dismiss Fed Governor Lisa Cook, a key official serving on Fed's interest rate setting committee, accusing her of mortgage fraud. She denies the charges. The U.S. top court barred Trump from immediately removing Cook, allowing her to remain in her post until it could hear the case contesting her dismissal. It is an unprecedented case, as no president has fired a sitting Fed governor in the agency's 112-year history. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell is expected to attend the arguments at the Supreme Court. The move comes just days after the Department of Justice launched a criminal investigation into Powell himself. In a victory for thousands of women suing Johnson & Johnson over claims that the company's baby powder and other talc products cause their ovarian cancer, a federal judge ruled that they will be allowed to present testimony at trial from experts who support that link. The ruling from an outside judge serving as a special master in the long-running litigation, which includes more than 67,500 lawsuits that have been consolidated in federal court in New Jersey, will allow the cases to move towards the first trial in federal court, potentially later this year. Johnson & Johnson, which has been fighting claims over its talc products in both federal and state court for years, has said the products are safe and do not cause cancer. It stopped selling talc-based baby powder in the US in 2020 and switched to a cornstarch product. Johnson & Johnson had sought to resolve the litigation through bankruptcy, a tactic that was rejected 3 times by federal courts, most recently in April 2025. The bankruptcies had put most of the talc product cases on hold for years. You're watching DD India Live. We're heading for a short break. Stay with us.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India Live. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar held a meeting with Spain's Minister of Foreign Affairs, European Union and Cooperation, Jose Manuel Albares, in Delhi. In the opening remarks, Dr. S. Jaishankar lauded India's and Spain's friendly relations rooted in shared democratic values and respect for multilateralism and rule-based order.
Excellency, India and Spain enjoy warm and friendly relations rooted in shared democratic values and respect for multilateralism and a rule-based order. Our political engagement has grown steadily, marked by regular high-level exchanges. India and Spain will celebrate in 2026, this year, the 70th anniversary of the establishment of our diplomatic relations, as well as the dual year of culture, tourism, and artificial intelligence. This initiative reflects our shared commitment to combining our rich cultural heritage with future-oriented cooperation.
Dr. S. Jaishankar also reiterated India's stance on zero tolerance against terrorism, underscoring that this stance is especially significant in the global fight against a scourge that has affected both India and Spain.
The world order is clearly undergoing a profound change. It is more imperative than ever before for nations to collaborate on shared challenges. This is particularly the case with respect to combating terrorism, where both India and Spain have been victims. The world must display zero tolerance towards terrorism.
Speaking on economic partnership, Dr. S. Jaishankar highlighted Spain as an important pillar of India's bilateral relations. He noted that Spain is among India's key trade partners within the European Union, with bilateral trade in goods surpassing $8 billion in recent years.
Economic partnership is an important pillar of our relationship. Spain is among India's important trade partners in the EU, and our bilateral trade in goods has crossed $8 billion in recent years. Spanish companies have a significant presence in India, particularly in infrastructure, renewable energy, urban mobility, engineering, water management, and smart cities.
India's Minister for Electronics and Information Technology, Ashwini Vaishnaw, met with IBM CEO Arvind Krishna and Meta's Chief Global Affairs Officer, Joel Kaplan, in Davos on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum meeting in Davos. Sharing pictures in a social media post, he said that the world looks at Bharat as a key driver of global innovation. The Election Commission of India on Wednesday inaugurated a 3-day Indian International Conference on Democracy and Election Management in New Delhi. Nearly 100 delegates from around 70 countries participated in the conference. Day 1 of the conference featured the reception of the international delegates, the inaugural session, and plenary discussions. The conference also included a screening of the docu-series India Decides, focusing on the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. Addressing the event, India's Chief Election Commissioner Gyanesh Kumar said that Indian elections are the largest democratic exercise in the world.
Not only to celebrate the democracy, but also to understand the future path, the challenges, the expectations of the electors, and how to make this process much, much more smoother, transparent, free, and fair. I should take you all towards a journey and explain as to how Indian elections become one of the largest exercise on planet year after year in terms of logistics, numbers, and transparency.
In addition to global participants, the conference is being attended by chief electoral officers from all the 36 states and union territories and academic experts, underscoring India's leadership in democratic governance and electoral innovation. The three-day event is the largest international conference ever hosted by India in the field of democracy and election management, bringing together heads of election management bodies from across the world. Chief of Air Staff, Air Chief Marshal AP Singh attended the 22nd Subrata Mukherjee Seminar on National Security Imperatives. Addressing the seminar, the Air Chief said that Indian Air Force has demonstrating its capability across a wide spectrum of operations, from evacuating Indian nationals from conflict zones to delivering decisive blows against terrorist infrastructure and its perpetrators. Air Chief Marshal Singh noted that it was India's air power that proved decisive in compelling adversaries to rethink about their action.
Whether it is, getting people out of conflict zone, like we did it in Sudan, or whether it is, giving a blow to the terrorist infrastructure and their perpetrators, or whether it is attacking multiple bases in Pakistan in a matter of few hours to send a signal that enough is enough and bring them to their knees. It was air power which did the trick, and that has to be remembered.
Republic Day parade rehearsals are ongoing in the national capital. Along with marching contingents, India's defence strength will also be on display. Indian Army contingents took part in the Republic Day 2026 rehearsal parade at Kartavya Path. A major highlight was the debut of the long-range anti-ship hypersonic glide missile during the rehearsal. Meanwhile, due to movement of troops and equipment, traffic restrictions remain in place in central Delhi. Authorities have advised commuters to follow advisories to follow and use alternate routes, and have urged the public to cooperate for smooth Republic Day operations and preparations. Republic Day parade showcases India's cultural diversity and military strength. Since 2014, the parade floats have seen major changes in design, technology and themes. Floats now blend tradition with modernity, using digital displays, advanced lighting and eco-friendly materials like bamboo and recycled wood. Selection focuses on creativity, message clarity and innovation, with expert committees from art, culture and architecture fields guiding the process. In 2025, under the theme Golden India, Heritage and Development, 16 states, 10 central ministries and the 3 armed forces presented visually stunning and thematic floats. This year, the 2026 parade will celebrate the spirit of the nation with the theme Vande Mataram. Let's talk of sports now. India's final preparations for the ICC T20 World Cup 2026 begin with a 5-match T20 series against New Zealand, starting with the opening match in Nagpur on Wednesday. After a 2-1 defeat in the ODI series, Team India, led by Suryakumar Yadav, will aim to bounce back in the shortest format. New Zealand arrived with confidence after achieving several firsts over the past year, including a Test series whitewash and their first ever bilateral ODI series win in India. Now, the visitors will look to script another milestone in T20 cricket as well. That's it in this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those of you on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. This app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can download the respective QR codes. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Preeti Kaur signing off, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.